children. Today I will try to make you understand how ATP synthesis takes place during photosynthesis in chloroplast. To understand this topic, there is a hypothesis called chemiosmotic hypothesis is very important. The name itself says that is chemiosmotic hypothesis. That means it is related with the osmosis of chemical, that is proton. So now this chemiosmotic hypothesis was given and explained by Peter Mitchell in 1961. So it was Peter Mitchell in 1961. He explained this chemiosmotic hypothesis of ATP formation. ATP formation. The very important thing is that here for osmosis there must be gradient, concentration gradient should be there, because you know that during osmosis the substances passes from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So here it is chemiosmotic, that means there must be concentration gradient. So how this concentration gradient developed? To understand this, we know that it is an electron transport which perform the pumping of proton from stroma to the lumen of the thylakoid, okay, which causes generation of proton gradient. Okay, so you can write this electron transport also perform pumping of proton from stroma to the thylakoid lumen. Okay, so due to this pumping of proton, there will be production of proton gradient, and this proton gradient causes development of proton motive force. Proton motive force, that is PMF. Okay, and this PMF is very important for the ATP synthesis. Okay, now we should know what are the factors responsible for the generation of proton gradient. There are three factors. There are three factors which are responsible for the generation of proton gradient across the membrane. Number one, you can write three factors responsible for generation of proton gradient. Proton gradient across the membrane. Number one, splitting of water molecule Number 2, hydrogen carrier pumps the proton ions from stroma to thylakoid lumen. And number 3 is NADP reductase. NADP reductase enzyme which takes proton from stroma to reduce NADP into NADPH2. Okay? Into NADPH2. So these are the 3 factors which causes development of proton gradient. That means inside the lumen the concentration of proton should be high, whereas outside the lumen, that is in the stroma, the concentration of proton should be less. Okay. Now next is